Hello guys, welcome to the new video tutorial on Angular. In the last video tutorial, we have discussed about what is directives and what are the types of directives. In the types of directives, we guys have understand there are three different types of directives in Angular. Component directives, that is a default component in Angular. Then attribute directives, which supports by ngStyle and ngClass, and structural directives which supports by ngIf, ngFor and ngSwitch. Now in this video we guys are going to discuss about attribute directives. We are going to create two videos on the same. One is for ngStyle and other one is for ngClass, because both of the concepts needs to be understand in detail and how to use it, that is the main important aspects. So let us first do understand about the attribute directives. As per the last video, we guys have understand the attribute directives are used to change the appearance and behavior of the DOM elements. So if we have certain elements right there on our web pages, to change their behaviors, that is what styles, we are going to use the attribute directives. And these attribute directives can be used as either by ngStyle or by ngClasses. And to make that done, let us first do understand about ngStyle. So ngStyle attribute is uses for changing the inline styles of our DOM components by the expressions or a TypeScript condition. So ngStyle directives is an attribute directive which allows us to set many inline styles of an particular HTML elements using the TypeScript expression or a certain condition. And to make them use, what we guys are going to do, let us do understand a one single scenario. So in my project, I'm going to write first the title, and I'm going to create one button on it. And when I click on the button, some certain values in the TypeScript I am going to change, and behalf of these values we are going to change the background color and the forecolor of our div. So let us start working on it. So here first I'm going to create a div. So this is a div. So I'm going to provide a class for this div as, so let us say, container fluid. Okay, I have already imported Bootstrap, that is why I'm using the Bootstrap classes directly. Again, I'm going to say some background color, let us say BG gradient, and I'm going to use BG primary. Padding I'm going to write here, let us say, and the text I'm going to write them into the center, and the text color must be white. Right, so here in H2 I'm going to write some information. Let us say I'm going to write ngStyle example. Okay, now let's say, let's check the output. So here we are. Okay, I have one in Chrome. So the output right here, let me just maximize it, localhost 4200. So right now we have this div. So one more button in the center I am going to create here, and one more div here in a container I am going to create, so that we guys can, once I click on the button, some certain value in the TypeScript by the event event binding, we are going to change it, and depends on that value, the background color and the forecolor of that div along with some text, we are going to change it. So let us work on it. So here one more div I am going to create. Okay, div with the class, let us say container. I'm going to write a class as a container there, BG white, and padding also I'm going to give, and some margin from the top also I'm going to write. And in this I'm going to create a button, so type as button, and we guys are going to write with some classes, let us say BTN and BTN primary from the Bootstrap. And at the same time, to make that align that button to the center, I'm going to say text center. All right, so this is the button, I have to write some data on it. So let us say I'm going to write click for style. All right, now the next thing that we have to do, so this is the output right here, click for styling. So once I click on this, I'm going to create some certain the variables in the TypeScript file, and by setting their value true and false, one more div here we are going to create. So let us say here I'm going to write one div, so that again belongs to the class of let us say container. Their backgrounds and everything guys are going to set, but I'm going to add a padding. And yes, but obvious here in the let us say h4, I'm going to write some data, and that data is like let us say output information. So this is what the data I'm going to write. Okay, I have to put them in a center, so I'm going to use the class as say text center. Right, so this is the default output. So once I click on this, so the background of this button, so I'm going to write some padding also, sorry, border we are going to write, so border and border 2, so that border or whatever this container you guys can see, this container we are going to change it at a runtime when I click on this button. So let us try working on it. So for this button to change the value, so in that component.ts file, I'm going to create one variable. Let's say that variable is task, and that belongs to boolean data type, and initially value is false. Again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a click event on this button. So let me write the click attribute right here. So I'm going to say it's a event binding, so you have to use opening closing round brackets, and the method is what event. And here I'm going to write event called as on change. So this event in the TypeScript file needs to be mentioned, then this error will be got resolved. So let us get back to the TypeScript file, and here I'm going to write the method called as on change. And in this method, I'm going to change this task equals to not task, so that if the value of task is true, then it will going to set it as a false, and if it is false, it is going to set it to the true. And depends on this value, some certain classes here using some ngStyle we guys are going to change. So as its attribute directives, so we guys have to write that by using the binding. That's what attribute binding. So I have to use opening closing square bracket, and that's what ngStyle. And which style I have to change? Well, that n number of styles you guys can write using opening closing curly brackets, and inside the curly brackets you guys have to have mentioned the style, and depends on condition what are their values. So what I need to change first is the background color. Well, the background color will be forms in two different words, so you have to write it using the single quote. So what is that property? Background hyphen color. And what we have to say, okay, this property is going to say depends on the value of that task variable which we got created in a TypeScript. So I'm going to use that task variable. So if the task is true, then I'm going to set some data, else I'm going to set some data. Right, so let us check with this. So if that background color works fine, so that task must be what we can say, the value those belongs to, let us say the background color must be blue. If it is not, then it must be the red. Okay, let me check what is this error coming here. Div not terminated properly. All right, okay, let us check with this where we had a mistake. Right, the error appears here is just because of using the double quotes as it's the value. So we should have to write them in a single quote. So let me write them in a single quote with the blue, and let me write them single quote with the red. So what does this mean? If the task is true, then the background color is going to set it as a blue, and if the task is false, the background color is going to set it as a red. Well, initially the value of task is false, and when I click it is going to change, which means it is going to shown initially as a red. So let us check out here, and you guys can see it is showing initially as a red. So once I click on this, it is going to change it to the blue. Once I click on this, it is going to change it to the red. Again, similar like this, what if I wanted to do, I'm going to change this color. Let us say some, we are going to put white as a background. So it's true. So like you guys can see, it is going to set it to the white. And one more thing that I need to do is I have to change their the working of four colors also. Now to change the color, you can write the common more properties there, and as the color is not two words containing property, so you have to write it directly color, and it depends on the value of task again. So if that task is true, which means the value is going to set it, background color will be set it to the white. Here I have to set the color to the red, and if it is false, then I'm going to set the four color to the white. Again, the same mistake we did, we have to write it in a single code. So let me write it in a single code here. Now let's see this and get back so you guys can see. If it is false, then the background color is red and four color is white. So once I click on this, then the background color will be become white and four color will be become as a red. So depends on your task, you guys can define these kind of attributes to the ng classes like this, sorry, ngStyle, and using the variable or a particular condition. As I have uses the boolean variable here, you may have any particular condition in your application. That condition you guys can able to use and write that code very simply to change the behavior of that DOM element at a runtime using the Angular. So this is all about the ngStyle. I hope you guys have understood. If you understood something, please give us the thumbs up and share it to the needful people. And thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next video tutorial.